What's going on, guys? Back again. Like I said I would, and not with a massive 3 week hiatus in between. Um, so don't know if you guys saw or not. The last video I posted was of all the stuff I got for my birthday from my incredibly awesome girlfriend, on top of the insane trip out of town, which was amazing. Anyway, back again, and as I'm sure you can tell by the little shameless promotion there, shameless plug in the bottom of your screen, uh, doing my Alien Gear holster review, and I'm gonna go about this a little differently. Uh, the thought come to my head, and I found it amusing, and so I'm gonna go with it. Anyway, when I first became a gun owner, my first pistol was a Star Model PD small frame 1911. So I go to a gun show and was talking to one of the vendors and was like, I need a holster. I need something that's going to hold this. And he says, what do you got? I says a 45, and I handed it to him. He went and dug through a box, and he came out with that. Now, it's not a bad holster. Since I'm left-handed, the tag was on the outside. I wanted this inside the waistband because it's very loose. It flops, so I cut the tag off of it. It is made in the USA. It is leather. It's some no name. I couldn't even begin to tell you who possibly made this, but this actually held my 45 on me for several months, probably better part of a year. And I kept saying, need a new holster, need a new holster, need a new holster. But I never got one. And this is my Sky right now that's in it. You can't see clear. Which anybody that knows anything about Skies, they're good little guns. They do what you want them to. But as much as I've messed around with mine and messed around with other friends' guns. It's a great gun, but I don't think I could trust my life to it. I damn sure know I ain't trusting my life to that. Without a doubt, that ain't happening. So, a few months ago, got online, went and did some digging, and actually this was recommended to me by a friend of mine. He said, check these guys out. They're great holsters. They're a great company. And was reading a ton of reviews, did a ton of homework on these guys, and came across the Alien Gear. Now, this is the Cloak Tuck 3.0. Fantastic holster. I'm sure you can see. This is my girlfriend's. She's right-handed. I'm left-handed. That's the only way we could tell these apart for the longest time because, as you can tell, we both carry Skies. Excuse me. Out here. Great retention, adjustable retention, actually. I don't know how well that's showing up, if at all. I don't know if you guys can see those little green dots down in there, but that's the holster retention. And it looks like she squished one flat. We'll fix that later. Anyway, you've got 3 different levels of ride height adjustment for this thing, which is pretty neat. And that's adjustable on both sides, so you can adjust your cant if you want a little bit of cant to it, want a little pitch to it. You can adjust it with the shell. That's another great thing about this that I found really interesting, as opposed to a lot of the other paddle holsters I've seen that are, this is the only thing I've got for an example, but it's a full shell. The whole gun goes down into it. Well, this is a half of a shell. It's half of your gun. I know a lot of you guys out there are going, man, we know how holsters work. We're not all idiots. And I'm not saying that anybody is. Not by any stretch. But what I am saying is there's somebody out there that may be new to this, may not know. So this is more for them. Not so much for you, I guess. But anyway, the cool thing about this holster, in my opinion, what makes it definitely worth the money, is the fact that it's a half of a shell. So you're not stuck with the whole shell, and you've got to deal with this giant piece of plastic. You've got room back here to flex a little bit. Nice and padded. I'm not sure what you'd call it. It feels like wetsuit material on the back. Breathability is amazing.
I wore this thing when we went on our trip. I wore it from the time we left until we got to our hotel. And when we got to our first stop outside of the town we were going to, we walked around for about 2.5 hours, and then, excuse me, went to another place down the road and walked around for another probably 2.5, 3 hours, and then finally went to the hotel. And I had this thing on the drive there, which was like 4 hours and some change, sitting in the car with this thing on, and then to the first stop, then the second stop, and then finally to the hotel. Because of where we were going that night, I had to leave it in the hotel. I hated that. Couldn't even take my pocket knife, but that's neither here nor there. Um, but what's awesome about this company is they have a lifetime shell trade in. So let's say you've got a Sky. Well, handily enough, I do. So you've got a Sky. You carry your Sky for a long time. You really dig it. It's great. But then you get something else. So you don't want to carry your Sky. You want to carry your new gun. Well, with Alien Gear, what they do is you send them your old shell, and they send you your new gun, basically. So as you can see, it's Kydex. It's molded to your gun. Actually, if you take the shell off and look, you can actually see where, like on the side of the Sky, you could actually see if there's something wrote. You can see it on the inside of the Kydex. It blew my mind when I see it. You'll see more what I'm talking about here in a second. But you send them your old shell, and in return, they will send you a new one. And obviously, M&P Shield 9mm. Love this little gun. I noticed on this one, I just bought this one straight out just in case I felt the urge to carry my Sky one day. All you got to do is 4 bolts, take it apart, put it back together with the other shell on it, and you're good to roll. I noticed with this one, whenever I was checking it out, you can actually read M&P Shield on the inside of the Kydex, which again blew my mind. Of course, I'm a very simple guy, so but they've got great deals on these. They're, for what it is, in my opinion, I would almost call it underpriced for how comfortable it is, the ease of use. You have tons of options, not only with your retention pressure, which they have different size bushings you can replace with the spare parts kit that they sell. But you have the option of metal clips. They've got other holsters that are, in my opinion, just as good as this one is. This one I went for simply because of the different options that were available. Like I said, I'm left-handed, my girlfriend's right-handed, and to keep us from getting our holsters mixed up, which really we couldn't have done, but since we carried the same gun, didn't want to grab hers instead of mine, I have metal clips on my holster. She has the plastic clips. She doesn't wear hers as much, so the plastic clips are going to last her a whole lot longer than they would me. Mine, I got the metal clips, like I said, and super tight. They fit over every belt I own, which is amazing because they're nice and wide. So inside the waistband, if you're wearing a duty belt or a simple brown leather belt, dressing up nice, or like me, one of the seat belts that you can get with all of the different DC comic character logos on it, it fit fine over that. The reason they call it the cloak tuck is because you can actually put this thing on, you can fully tuck your shirt in around it, and by just barely pulling your shirt out, you'll never even know it's there. Me, I don't tuck my shirt in for nothing. Drives me up the walls to have my shirt tucked in. My girlfriend, on the other hand, always has her shirt tucked in. I don't see how people do that, but to each their own. She'll put this thing on and then tuck her t-shirt in, pull it out just a little bit for, flexibility, comfort, and all that. And you walk by her on the street, you'd never know she has a pistol on her. You would have absolutely zero idea. And that's the best thing about this gun is the invisibility factor, if you will. Unless you either have somebody grab a hold of your shirt, or you stretch way back real big and take a big old yawn because you're tired or whatever, you're not going to print while wearing this thing. And I've seen other guys do reviews on this thing, and they're carrying bigger guns than this. They're carrying Glocks and freaking hand cannons, and they even make a revolver version of this. So if you're into revolvers, you can get a revolver version as well. In my opinion, one of these with a 38 looks just flat out sexy. That's the only way to put it. But great holster, really good company. Like I said, I spent a ton of time reading reviews on their site, and come across there was people that had wrote in, hey, I had it for 2 weeks, and for whatever reason, one of the holes tore, or one of the J clips came loose and broke, or just something that simply was not their fault. It was through no fault of their own, and it wasn't even necessarily a design flaw. Somebody I read, they'd accidentally sent them the wrong shell, and the customer service people were like, messaging back, commenting back to them on their page, was like, you know what, send it back to us. We got you another one out the door. Zero hassle. They really want to make sure that their customers are taken care of, and that to me says a lot about a company. They really strive for excellence in customer satisfaction, and they make a great product. They back it up. So if you're in the market for a really good holster, definitely check out Alien Gear. Like I said, in my opinion, they are a little bit underpriced, but definitely worth every single penny. They ship fairly quickly. From the time I ordered mine till the day it was in my mailbox was like 5 days, I believe, if even that. So, you get your order in, they get it shipped out real quick, and they have a massive list of holsters, ready to go. They got a ton of the bases in the warehouse, all the clips, all the hardware, ton of shells for just about any gun you can imagine. Now, if you got some crazy off-the-wall gun that you and like 4 other people on the planet have ever heard of, they're not going to have it. But and I didn't think they would have anything for Sky, but they've got everything Sky makes. They've got, of course, everything Glock makes, because apparently Glock is the only gun manufacturer on the planet. Everything for Smith & Wesson. I mean, you name it, pretty much they've got it. So if you're in the market for a good holster, hit up Alien Gear, check them out, take a look. They've got a bunch of different design options, bunch of different price points, from the mild to the wild, and this one right here is the wildest that they've got. So at any rate, I'm going to go edit this video and have it up on the site soon at 14:05. Wow. Alright, so anyway, remember guys, check your chambers, and everybody stay safe out there. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't get caught in the middle.